We live in an era where almost every piece of human knowledge feels like it's a few keystrokes away. Yet, scrolling through endless streams of public data, sovereign states are engineering more complex architectures of secrecy than at the height of the Cold War. Take the 2025 release from the National Declassification Center. Over 500,000 pages of previously classified material were pushed into the public domain, including troves of old JFK assassination files. On the surface, the government appears to be finally opening its doors. In practice, these releases are curated by the Iron Triangle, a network of legislative bodies, defense departments, and private corporate contractors. They decide exactly what is fit for public consumption, ensuring the core of military and strategic operations stays entirely out of view. Modern secrecy functions as a proactive structural weapon. It goes beyond the reactive redactions of the past to curate exactly what enters the public record, preserving a state's asymmetric advantages in technology and global influence. When a federal agency needs to hide a program from congressional oversight, they often move it out of the government's hands entirely. By transferring physical materials and sensitive research to private aerospace contractors, the state effectively launders the information into a different legal category. Once that intelligence enters a corporate infrastructure, it is reclassified as a proprietary trade secret. This status makes the data immune to Public Freedom of Information Act requests and legally binds personnel through corporate non-disclosure agreements that bypass standard military reporting. This mechanism was at the center of the 2024 UAP hearings. Intelligence whistleblowers testified under oath about Immaculate Constellation, an alleged unacknowledged special access program. They described a decades-long effort to sequester data on unidentified aerospace anomalies within private corporate vaults, entirely bypassing the knowledge of Congress. The intelligence community relies on deep legal precedents to avoid answering questions. In 1974, when asked about the Hughes Glomar Explorer, a ship secretly built to salvage a sunken Soviet submarine, the CIA established the right to neither confirm nor deny the existence of any records. That same maneuvering is used to keep the unredacted 6,700-page Senate intelligence report on the CIA's torture program quarantined. The executive branch has locked physical copies inside isolated safes, while federal courts continue to block public access by classifying it as a protected congressional document exempt from standard transparency laws. Exploiting corporate proprietary law and historic legal semantics effectively nullifies democratic oversight. It allows the executive branch to operate in total isolation without ever technically breaking a law. Sometimes the refusal to acknowledge a secret is the most effective way to use it. Israel operates on a doctrine of amimut, or strategic ambiguity. While the global intelligence community recognizes Israel as a nuclear-armed state, the government maintains a policy of neither confirming nor denying the arsenal's existence. The center of this policy is the Dimona complex in the Negev Desert. Officially, it is a modest 26-megawatt civilian research reactor. Independent estimates, however, indicate the facility has produced enough weapons-grade plutonium to arm up to 200 nuclear warheads. This silence serves a calculated diplomatic purpose. By never making an official declaration, Israel avoids triggering U.S. laws that would mandate economic and military sanctions for illicit nuclear development. It also allows them to stay completely outside the International Atomic Energy Agency's inspection regime. Strategic ambiguity allows a nation to project an existential deterrent without forcing its neighbors into an overt arms race.
If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like, share, and hit that subscribe button below. It really helps the channel grow. Thanks for watching.
The threat remains lethal precisely because its exact scale and readiness are never officially confirmed. When legal loopholes fail, superpowers turn to geology. Since the start of the nuclear age, nations have poured billions into deep subterranean infrastructure, engineering impenetrable vaults to ensure the government survives even the most catastrophic scenarios. The People's Republic of China has leveraged its vast mountainous terrain to build the underground Great Wall. Stretching over 3,100 miles, this tunnel network is designed to shield mobile intercontinental ballistic missiles from preemptive nuclear strikes, ensuring a guaranteed second strike capability. Russia maintains a similarly massive installation beneath Mount Yamantau in the Ural Mountains. Encompassing millions of square feet, this bunker is built to independently sustain tens of thousands of military and political leaders for months following a global thermonuclear exchange. These multi-billion-dollar ecosystems are designed for regime survival. They guarantee the continuity of the state apparatus, ensuring the command structure remains intact even if the civilian population above ground is completely annihilated. Operating in total shadow requires an isolation from civilian moral frameworks. At the UK's Porton Down, scientists must continuously manufacture and handle trace quantities of lethal agents like Ebola and Novichok. It is a paradox of biodefense. To develop vaccines and countermeasures, the state must first synthesize the very threats it seeks to neutralize. In the United States, the Department of Energy manages classification protocols distinct from the military. FOIA releases show the department maintains active, classified human subject research programs. Operating under cryptic designations like Moostrol, the exact physical procedures and the identities of those involved remain entirely unacknowledged. Recruits executing these operations undergo intense tradecraft simulations at Camp Peary, known as the Farm. In this 9,000-acre military reservation, agents are immersed in mock nations and endure grueling jail sequences, where they are subjected to sensory deprivation and hostile interrogation to simulate the realities of capture. This total geographic and legal isolation breeds an insulated intelligence subculture. Bound by shared trauma and operating outside public view, this community calculates the cost of human life as a variable in national security, prioritized beneath the preservation of the intelligence apparatus itself. Extreme secrecy creates a specific operational paradox. By hiding information so effectively behind layers of compartmentalization, a state risks a form of institutional amnesia, where the government actually loses the technical knowledge it is trying to protect. This occurred with Fog Bank, a specialized aerogel utilized in the thermonuclear warheads of Trident II submarine-launched ballistic missiles. The classification was so absolute that by the 2000s, the Department of Energy discovered it had lost the institutional memory required to manufacture the material, forcing a desperate and costly attempt to reverse engineer its own weapon. While agencies struggle with internal memory loss, the modern digital landscape has introduced a different vulnerability. Secrets are increasingly breached not by sophisticated foreign espionage, but by the chaotic reality of internal leaks. In 2023, billions of dollars in elite security infrastructure were bypassed by a single insider, a young Air National Guardsman sharing classified assessments on the war in Ukraine with friends on a gaming platform. The architecture of state secrecy reveals that the absolute monopoly on critical information is the ultimate currency of sovereign power. These a monopoly that global superpowers will engineer any loophole and build any bunker to preserve, even when those very defenses threaten to collapse under their own weight.
If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like, share, and hit that subscribe button below. It really helps the channel grow. Thanks for watching.